Hey everybody, welcome to another Tanks replay. This one's the last from my current batch of replays to record, so the next thing I put out should be warships before I inevitably build myself another backlog. And we're watching a match from Rothmog. This is in the A45, or FV201, the new British Tier 7 Premium. Hopefully my mic volume's alright. I already tried to record this just a minute ago, but my mic was almost inaudible. I think I fixed the problem, but we'll have to find out afterwards. I'm not going to re-record this the third time, I don't think. I just haven't got the patience right now. Anyway, the A45 is basically a partially upgraded Carnarvon. You've got the Carnarvon hull, the Carnarvon turret, or Centurion turret more accurately, and a 17-pounder gun. This thing is Tier 7, it does not get preferential matchmaking, as Wargaming are trying to remove that. Most of the preferential matchmaking tanks can no longer be bought, and well, except for special events anyway, when Wargaming feel like making a lot of money very quickly. And most of the new premiums, or all of the new premiums I should say, have regular matchmaking. So this thing will see Tier 9s. Now if I just pause the game for a second and take a much closer look at this tank, you can see it is basically just a partially upgraded Carnarvon. The only real difference I can spot is this little machine gun mount here. I am not certain if that's a hitbox or not. I would imagine it probably is a hitbox, in keeping with the tradition of Wargaming having hatches and bumps and things as hitboxes. Obviously the storage boxes on the side of the tank, the stowage bins, are not. They never have been on the Carnarvon, Conqueror or Centurion, so there's no point shooting at them. The actual hitbox area of the tank is this here. Please excuse my phone going off. And then of course the actual turret itself. Don't shoot at these, don't shoot at these, but you can probably, I would imagine, pen the tank through here. I haven't had a chance to look at the armor thicknesses in Tank Inspector yet, so I'll have a look at that later and probably annotate the video if that happens to actually be a deceptive pretend weak spot like the E3's Cupola. Anyway, let's go back to the match. Now, this thing seems to play pretty much like the Black Prince and Carnarvon do. It's more or less just a cross between the two. Of course, Rothmog is using Battle Assistant, which blows out the reticle, but based on what I know about the British heavy tanks, this thing probably has good on-the-move accuracy and decent gun handling, and obviously a pretty good rate of fire, considering it's got a 17-pounder. Because the Rothmog is top tier, he's in a Tier 7 match composed mostly of Tier 5s, he's quite happy to just drive around, auto-aim on things.
Let's locate another target. Permission to engage. Target acquired. Got him!
And you know what? Why not? If it works, it works.
Target acquired. Penetration.
While he pushes through the city and pretty much face rolls the enemy, because their high tier tanks are somewhere else.
Target lost.
Rothmog's team, meanwhile, is about to get a very unpleasant surprise in the form of Crescent Road Rush, which is not something we see very often. It generally doesn't work out very well, because normally there's tanks out in the field to stop it, but if you notice, Rothmog's team completely abandoned the field, nobody went there, and when you do that, you generally get your ship pushed in the front of the field. Surprise, surprise. A lot of people will still say the field is useless. I would completely disagree, and this is why. You can win town all you want, but at the end of the day you do actually need somebody in field, not least because if town ends up running into a brick wall of TDs and heavy tanks, you can then use the field to push around them and come in from behind. So it is a very important position, but it's one that's often overlooked. Having dealt with the SU-152, Rothmog now turns around to go back and try and defend his own base. He's switched to APCR here, so even auto-aiming he's going to pen stuff pretty easily. Now, Decibel brought up a good point. Decibel is kind of like my after-the-fact editor. He tells me when I fucked up and said something wrong in my videos. And one of the things that keeps coming up is I will keep referring to the high rate of fire guns on certain tanks as high pen when they're not. For instance, a 17-pounder is not a high pen gun at Tier 7. The Comet 77mm, not a high pen gun at Tier 7.
destroyed.
Easy 8s M1A2 isn't high pen at tier 6. The reason I think I call them high pen is because they've got a high rate of fire, decent enough gun handling to be accurate, and their shell velocity for their tier is relatively high. So because the shell gets there in a hurry, generally hits where it's aimed, and I already aim for weak spots impulsively no matter what gun I'm using, that's why I seem to think they're high pen. It's because I generally do not bounce with them. Now, of course, this could be applied to pretty much any gun because, as I said, even if I get the biggest gun in the match, I will still instinctively aim for weak spots. So the point here isn't so much that the size of your gun matters, it's where you're pointing it. Even if you have the biggest gun in the match, if you're pointing it at the front of a JP100's casemate, you're probably not going to pen it. Turning to the match, the Jagdpanzer IV comes up to try and ambush Rothmog, gets one shot in before being dispatched, and now he's got to deal with the Jagdpanzer, which is on cap. The Arty are still trying to hit him, but they haven't pushed into shotgun range yet. He comes around the corner and starts putting shells through the front of the JP. And then from the side, eats an ammo rack shot there, and nearly dies. One of the 304 shells came dangerously close there,
Get going.
leaving Rothmog with just 47 hit points and no repair kit. Now I'm going to speed this one up as the enemy Arty make their play. There's two of them, there's one of him, he's already crippled, but he's managed to kill quite a few tanks on his own. And so the play I'd be expecting here is one or both of the enemy Arty to go for cap. Rothmog heads to the other end of the map to look for them. He could have got on cap here, but that would have been a mistake as the enemy have two Arty, and the second one could simply get on his cap and then he would be up shit creek. Now, as it happens, there's only one on cap. The replay speed is causing the XVM capture bar information to say that there's two. And as I slow it back down to real time, you can see it's just one enemy Arty in cap there. So Rothmog veers off the road and heads into the field, looking to give himself a little bit of concealment from whichever Arty is in the cap and a little bit of distance to make it harder for the Arty to shotgun him. He does stop as he sees the enemies on the 5. It's really risky, but he does get away with it. Just finishes that off, and now he's just got to deal with the 304, which looks like it's about to cap out. He's probably going to have less than a second to fire his gun when he gets to the cap. It's going to be a difficult shot. There are two wrecks in the way, and the 304 is a very small target. The cap bar is just completed, but because he's able to finish the 304 off within the grace period, he picks up a win. So pretty decent match in this thing. I'm kind of interested in picking it up. I started out very poorly in the Black Prince. I hated the thing. I sold it. I vowed never to play it again. I came back to it about 6 months or a year later and ended up actually finishing with, I think, a 70% win rate and really, really liking it. Now, that was probably partially Stockholm Syndrome, but it did end up working for me in the end. So, and you know, I do like the Carnarvon now, so I'm thinking maybe this might be worth picking up for me. Your mileage may vary. The capacity to train British heavy crews would be useful for me, as my 215B crew do need training, and it's better to train that crew in a lower tier tank than a tier 10, obviously. The other British heavy crew trainer I was thinking of picking up is the Excelsior, of course, because the Excelsior is so fantastic. Now, the main reason I haven't picked up the Excelsior so far has been an issue of money, and for the same reason I probably won't pick this up for quite a long time. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the mission done to actually get it for free because I just don't have enough spare time. But it's definitely something to consider in the future, and I'll be keeping my eye on this thing as it starts to proliferate a bit more in pub matches, just to see how they perform. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as I said before, next video should be warships, unless something goes horribly wrong and I get back into tanks and rebuild my my replay backlog before I can get through my warships ones. As ever, I'll see you on the next one.